this. You do not owe anyone access to you. You don't owe anybody access to you. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly Marie. I am a business and life certified NLP coach. I talk a lot about mindset. I talk a lot about business and making money. I love God. I put a little sprinkle of Jesus on everything. Today's video is going to be about how to make decisions as a CEO with less self-doubt and how to do that without caring about what other people think. I have had over 1,000 clients, and literally every single person at some point in time is like wondering what someone else is going to say about them or what someone else thinks about them, whether that's a stranger on the internet or maybe it's a family member or a friend that you have. When you say that you're going to open a business and you're getting on social media, or you're saying that you're going to release a new program, it's like you are really putting yourself in a place of vulnerability. You're allowing people to see you develop a vision that only God gave you. It kind of feels like you're just putting yourself out there and anybody can judge you. And we know the internet is a rough, tough place. Okay, there are a lot of internet bullies, a lot of family bullies and friend bullies, right? Sometimes we hinder ourselves because we stop ourselves from making decisions and making progress because we're thinking about all the things that those people are going to say. My first recommendation is to block the people you are anxious about on social media that aren't your ideal client. A lot of times the people that you feel like are watching you or people that you feel like are judging you are people who are not your ideal client anyways. They're not people who would typically buy your service. And so it makes sense for you to just block them. And I don't want you to feel bad about blocking them, because I know some people are like, well, I don't want to, if it's a family member, I don't want to block them. If it's somebody who I consider to be a friend, I don't want to block them. Well, number one, I probably would not consider them a friend if that's how you feel when they're looking at your stuff on Instagram or any social media platform. But remember this, you do not owe anyone access to you. You don't owe anybody access to you. So if you decide to block them because you do not want them to see your content, I promise you they are going to be okay. They're not going to die. Worst case scenario, they text you or they call you and they say, hey, you blocked me on social media. Then it's time to have an adult conversation and say, I feel a little bit anxious when I know that you're watching my stories on my business page, or I feel a little bit anxious when I see that you're looking at my content. And so for me, it's easier if I just keep my business page separate from my personal friends and my personal family. Like, you can have a normal conversation. If they still don't like it after that, baby, it's on them. Okay. It is completely on them. Number two, you want to create a decision map based on your goals. Now, this seems like it's a little bit out of left field. Like, okay, even if I know what decisions I'm making in business, and even if I have my goals set, like, how is that going to help me stop feeling self-doubt? How is that going to help me stop second guessing if people are looking at me, and really start to alleviate some of that anxiety? It's like you're thinking about, what if I mess up? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I don't really finish this thing or follow through with this thing? That feeling comes from a lack of clarity in how you're moving. And so if you clear up the decisions that you're making, not just setting those goals, but if you look at your goals and you create a decision map or an implementation plan. I send an implementation plan to all of my one-on-one deep dive clients, because it's like, we had this whole conversation. Now here's this plan. This is what you should be doing step by step by step by step by step in order to execute and implement on your 90-day goals. That plan of clarity and having a decision map, you become confident in what you're doing, why you're doing it, and where you are headed. You worry less about what's going on the outside. Number three, write down the thoughts you have anytime you're feeling doubt or judgment. I want you to do this for the next 2 to 3 days, because you may, the first day that you know you're doing this, you probably will actually catch yourself in the negative self-talk. You'll catch yourself in the criticism and the anxiety, and you'll be like, oh, no. But really, for the next 72 hours, I want you to write down every single time you have a feeling of self-doubt, a feeling of judgment from external factors, so judgment from friends, judgment from family members, judgment from strangers on the internet, I want you to write those thoughts down. For some of you, this is going to be a lot, okay? But just take a notebook or a little notepad and write this down. The next thing I want you to do is right next to it, write down why you feel that way. Be completely honest, okay? This is an exercise for you. It is to help you start to become more self-aware about how you're talking to yourself and how you're processing your feelings. And I want you to write that down. Why do you feel this way? It doesn't matter if you write it down and you're like, it doesn't make any sense for me to feel that way. I still want you to write it down, okay? It doesn't have to make sense. There's not any right or wrong answers, which leads me to step number 4. The fourth thing you need to do is I look at those statements and identify the cognitive distortion in each statement. Okay, I'm going to explain what a cognitive distortion is. I actually have another short video of it on my TikTok. I'll link that below, and I'll link a list of common cognitive distortions below as well. Okay, the way our brain works is that we're processing a lot of information every single day. I mean, we're looking at advertisements and commercials. Our brain is processing the colors of things around us. Is this a safe space? Is this a dangerous space? We're looking at social media, and there's so many different things going on in the videos, in the background, in our actual background of where we are. Our brain cannot possibly process all of that information. So what happens is, in order to save processing space, our brain takes certain things that we see and distorts them. It takes certain things that we experience and distorts them. And those are called cognitive distortions. A lot of your negative thought patterns and a lot of those feelings when you're feeling like judged, or when you're feeling like self-doubt, that comes from cognitive distortions. Okay, it's how we're processing the world around us. There's a cognitive distortion type called generalization. Generalization is when you take different occurrences in your life and you take what happened to you and you generalize it for everything. So people who are like, every man cheats, men aren't faithful, because maybe one of their exes cheated or because their ex wasn't faithful. Now they're overgeneralizing, and every time they meet a man, even if he has good intentions, they're thinking he's a cheater and he's guilty until proven innocent. It's a cognitive distortion, okay? So if you want to adjust things like this and you want to change things like this, and it's not an easy thing to do because it is a subconscious assumption. It happens like that, y'all. It's a subconscious behavior. If you really want to start to tap into your subconscious and remove those feelings of, I feel judged because everybody's watching me, or I feel self-doubt because I have a hard time trusting myself, then you have to start by doing that step 3 and that step 4. Once you identify that that's what's happening, it gives you the permission to step outside of where you are and who you are and say, okay, let me look at this objectively. Like, what if things were different? What if things were not the way that I was thinking that they were? What if things are different than, my first initial thought process? What if those things are different? And you can start to challenge those subconscious thoughts, and that helps you create logic and free yourself from it. Hopefully this helps you. I want you to grow and go and flourish in God as you build your business or continue to scale your business. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions. I love answering questions. See y'all later.